On the news, APC and PDP supporters disrupt local government election in Rivers State. Flood wreaks havoc in Ondo State and destroys properties. Federal government to begin evacuations of Nigerians in Lebanon. Glad to have you join us on the news on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akinkulie. 24 hours after a pre-election demonstration supporting the ongoing local government elections in Rivers State, another group of predominantly young protesters marched on Saturday, rejecting the process. Gathering at the Polo Club in GRA Port Harcourt, the protesters cited a federal high court judgment from Abuja which barred the police and INEC from participating, declaring there is no election in the state. Despite this, elections were ongoing across some of the local government areas, although there have been reports of delayed materials in some areas. In some areas also, police officers reportedly disrupted the local government election, with about 20 patrol vans carrying heavily armed personnel reportedly arriving at the scene, firing tear gases into the premises of the primary school where the voting exercise was underway. Now, joining me to discuss this better is political affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you so much for your time. Now, why do you think there is a sharp divide in public opinion on the local elections, with some supporting and others protesting?
Well, that the election even held at all is a miracle, given the tension and the insecurity that has pervaded Rivers State since the inauguration of, at least since October last year, when the group loyal to former Governor Nyesom Wike had been making the Rivers State ungovernable for similar Fubara, the incumbent governor. You need to situate what is going on today in the face-off between the former governor, immediate past governor, and the current governor. The immediate past governor, who is not the Federal Capital Territory minister, believes he owns the political structure of Rivers State, particularly that of PDP. And you could see that the recently held congresses by PDP in the state were won by its loyalists. So, and the loyalists to the current governor, similar Fubara, are there to defect to APP, or Alliance People's Party, APP, in order to realize their interest. Because after the dissolution, the governor, similar Fubara, dissolved the 23 local government caretaker committee chairman. No, they were even elected, but their tenure had ended. So when their tenure ended, the Rivers State House of Assembly tried to extend their tenure by 6 months, which the governor did not want, because it's about controlling the political structure of the state. So when Fubara rejected the extension that was granted by the State House of Assembly, the Supreme Court decision came that any local government that is not democratically governed, that their funding should be withheld. So that's because after the caretaker committee that were appointed by similar Fubara, they could not take over the administration of the councils, because the loyalists of Wike were resistant to their takeover, citing that the State House of Assembly had already extended their tenure. It was that face-off that was on before the Supreme Court decision came. Now, when the Supreme Court decision came, it then means that Fubara had to organize a proper election. And that proper election is what was happening today. But because Wike's group knew that if this election were to be successfully conducted, they will be swept aside. That means that they will no longer be in control of the local government system of Rivers State, the 23 local government. That's why they rushed to the court and got a federal high court decision to not to allow the election to hold as scheduled today. And the court gave them favorable judgment saying that INEC should not give voters register, the police and DSS should not participate. However, the camp lawyer to Fubara also got a ruling of the Rivers High Court that gives them the leeway to conduct this election. So both camps are citing legal backing for what has happened today. Unfortunately, I just hope that there will be no life loss because we've heard of situations where people were shot, particularly in the Obiakwa local government area of Rivers State, the ward where former governor Nyesom Wike comes from. We learned that the youth resisted the conduct of election in that place, and 2 people were allegedly shot. Although, as of
So
now, I've
sorry
not
to
heard
interrupt
of
you,
any murder
Jide
or
Ojo.
any
Now,
death.
briefly,
Yes.
do you think this election would be valid as some part of the states couldn't participate in the election?
Well, the validity or otherwise of it will be determined by the court. Don't also forget that it's just all ritual that they are performing. If you look at all the state independent electoral commissions elections that have been conducted thus far, particularly this year, it has been 100% mudslide and landslide victory for the party in power. And now, unfortunately, while Similaye Fubara says he's a member of PDP, his loyalist has defected to APP. So what will happen now is that at least they will announce results and they will forcefully inaugurate those who have been declared winner and ask those who lose out to go to court. So that's why I said it's the court that will ultimately determine whether what was held today is credible election or not. But I just hope and I sue for peace in Rivers State because as the day winds down, under the cover of darkness, a lot of things can happen which were not allowed to happen during the day. So it's better they just do whatever shenanigans or shambolic election they want to do. Let's keep peace. Let's leave the rest to the court to determine. And I know that this might even go to Court of Appeal
All
or
right.
maybe Supreme Court ultimately.
All right,
But it's just about controlling the political machinery of the state. That's what the 2 camps, the Wike camp and the Fubara camp, this is what they are fighting over.
All right, political affairs analyst Jide Ojo, thank you so much for your time. Now in Ondo State, severe flooding has wreaked havoc on parts of Ondo town in Ondo West local government of the state. Property worth millions of nairas have been destroyed and many residents displaced. The flooding by torrential rainfall lasted for several hours on Friday. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Environment in the state has ordered evacuation from the affected areas. Our correspondent Okbayemi Owosheni has more on the story.
It was an unusually heavy downpour which lasted for several hours, leading to widespread flooding and devastating several areas of the town. The major Akure-Ondo highway in the town was submerged with vehicles trapped in the floodwater. A major hotel in the town was taken over by the floodwater, which rose up to the first floor. Other key areas of the town badly affected include Tanla, Oka, Odo-Ijomo, Bethlehem, Fago and several others. In some areas, the floodwater reached alarming levels, forcing residents to abandon their homes. In one situation, a motorcycle rider was rescued from being swept away in the floodwater. Many of the houses are still waterlogged and vehicles remain stranded, some swept away by the force of the flood. So far, there has been no reported loss of life in the tragic incident. However, residents are devastated as properties worth millions of naira have been destroyed, with many now unsure of when or if they will be able to return to their homes. The state government says it has already begun evacuating residents in the affected areas. Earlier today, the State Commissioner for Environment, Oyeniyi Oseni, released a statement confirming the government has initiated rapid response measures to prevent further damage. He assured the public that the necessary machinery is being deployed, including the use of excavators to dredge critical erosion-prone areas in the state. Okpeyemi Owosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian government has said that no Nigerian life has been lost in Lebanon amidst the escalating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. As Israel increases strike in Lebanon, the Nigerian government said it has commenced preparations for the evacuations of Nigerians in Lebanon. In a statement signed by the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Echiabo Bey, on Saturday, the government said that the Nigerian embassy in Lebanon has been actively working to protect its nationals. While the situation in Lebanon remains volatile, the embassy has advised Nigerians as early as August 2024 to voluntarily evacuate with commercial flights still available. It added that Nigerian citizens in southern Lebanon, one of the most dangerous areas, have been relocated to several regions such as Beirut with assistance from community leaders. President Bola Tinubu has conferred the Grand Commander of the Order of Niger on Tajudeen Abbas, Speaker of the House of Representatives, after initially planning to award him the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. In his Independence Day speech, Tinubu announced GCON titles for Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Chief Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, with Abbas and Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin stated for CFR. However, lawmakers in House of Reps rejected the planned CFR conferment for Abbas, calling it discriminatory. In response, Presidential Advisor Bayo Ononuga said that the President upgraded Abbas' title to GCON, correcting a historical oversight to align with the National Order of Precedence. Now, meanwhile, legal expert Evans Ofeli argued on TV360's flashy program Digi360 that Tinubu may have contravened the law, as both legislative chambers are considered equal under the Constitution.
The law only said that there shall be a National Assembly, okay? And that National Assembly shall be comprised of two houses. That is the House of Representatives and the Senate. It is in the course of study that we were told that one is the upper house and the other is the lower house. But the law didn't say so. The Constitution didn't say so, okay? So if you look at it, they sit jointly sometimes. They sit together sometimes, okay? One whole plenary, you have one whole joint session. They do that at times. So the principal members are just first among equal. There's nowhere where the law says that the House of Representatives is a lower house and lower in ranking, and therefore their function should be limited to certain, and then the Senate is the upper house and their function should be limited to. A bill can be originated from Senate, a bill can be originated from House of Rep, whichever part, and it will receive the same attention and the same legislative engagement throughout the process. So in the course of studying this, you will be told that one is lower and one is higher. But the law itself has not made such pronouncement. And whatever is not expressly stated in the law cannot be read into it. The express mention of one thing excludes the other.
The Public Service Staff Development Center, PSSDC, a civil servant training institute established by the Lagos State government in 1994, has trained over 70,000 civil servants in career development and capacity building over its 30 years of operation. At an event marking its anniversary on Friday, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu highlighted the resilience of the center, which has survived political pressures and intrudes to become a vital resource in Lagos State public service. The governor praised the institute for enhancing service delivery and professional development, noting its international recognition. Sanwo-Olu urged the center to continue innovating and improving to maintain its relevance in the future.
I want to use him to also encourage all of us that we should not stop learning. Whatever it is that we'll find in ourselves, let us just take it, as an opportunity for us to rediscover ourselves, for us to do new things, and for us to know that learning is, for as long as you are living, you should continue to learn. You should continue to aspire to know one new thing, to discover one new thing, to grow in one new area, and that's the only way where, your relevance becomes increasingly important in society.
We are ready for the next 30 years. If you look around the premises, you will see that a lot of development has taken place. A lot of projects have been either ongoing or completed, and some of these projects include our virtual learning platform, so that people can access learning on a virtual basis. We've also been able to digitize our courses ourselves, which ensures that there's sustainability in terms of the utilization of the learning platform. We've also set up a whole block of 9 classrooms for computer-based testing. So we have 9 classrooms with 300 computers ready for computer-based testing facilities for people, both within the public service and outside the public service. We've also built a multi-purpose sports facility that has a football pitch, a volleyball court, basketball court, badminton court, lawn tennis court, table tennis, and then next year we'll be adding a swimming pool to that. Just so that your experience when you come into PSSDC is a 360-degree experience. So that when you come into PSSDC, you don't want to leave. So that when you come to PSSDC, your family members will say, Daddy, I want to come with you. Mommy, I want to come with you. PSSDC is home for public servants and home for Lagosians in general.
And with over 60 million Nigerians engaging in gambling daily, the industry has been identified as a significant contributor to revenue generation and wealth redistribution in the country. Michael Eja, Director General of the Cross River State Lottery and Gaming Agency, highlighted the thriving nature of Nigeria's gambling sector, which is currently valued between 500 billion naira and 600 billion naira. Speaking in an event, Eja noted that despite the industry's current size, 90% of its potential market remains undertapped.
The betting industry is worth about $1 billion in Africa. Lagos State alone generated $243 million in revenue last year. That's 2023, right? So gambling is coming up huge, and people are beginning to understand the essence of gambling. And the gaming industry sells hope and helps in wealth redistribution, creation of jobs in Nigeria, and there is a lot they are doing, and government is also benefiting from the revenue that is being generated in the gaming industry. The government is doing its best. They are upgrading their platforms, and they are working very hard to ensure that all the operators are brought into the tax nets of each of the states in Nigeria. And gradually, we're beginning to bring them to the tax net. So over time, you're going to see the benefit of, the revenue that the gaming industry can generate in Nigeria.
If you're venturing into a big industry like this, you definitely have to come with your own uniqueness. So it could, make you stand out from the public, which are, of course, the competitors in the industry. So we implemented some features that could differ from what the country currently has. That's the players of the industry.
The Nigerians in Diaspora Organization NIDO Africa has announced December 20th as the launch date for the Save Our Children campaigns, a major initiative aimed at combating human trafficking and illegal migration. The campaign seeks to raise awareness and rally stakeholders to address these pressing issues following the rescue of over 500,000 Nigerians from various African countries. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, NIDO Africa Chairman Jude Osakwe highlighted the organization's commitment to eradicating human trafficking and its devastating impact on society. Osakwe praised the collaborative effort of NIDO Ghana chapter and swift action of NIDCOM Chairman Abike Dabiri-Awewa, which led to the rescue of many children in Ghana and the arrest of key traffickers.
To lose their self-worth, because when they go out of the country, you see that they are involved in different kinds of activities. Some of them go into robbery, some go into prostitution, some are forced into labor, which they are not supposed to do. We have saved children as low in age at 12 years. We've saved 14 years old children, 16 and so. Some of them even got pregnant without knowing who the father of the child is. So we are trying to call on Nigerians to rally around NIDO Africa as we embark on this fight against human trafficking.
News now, we're now going to a short break here, but still to come, U.S. court orders Mayweather to pay Nigerian firm $2.4 million over contract breach. Details of the story after this break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Now let's give you a quick recap of our top stories. The local government election in Rivers State, Nigeria has sparked controversy and conflicting demonstrations. While a pro-election group showed support 24 hours earlier, a new group of predominantly young protesters gathered at the Polo Club in Jerry, Port Harcourt on Saturday to reject the electoral process. These protesters cited the Federal High Court judgment from Abuja that allegedly barred police and INEC participation, claiming the election was invalid. Despite this opposition in the court ruling, voting was reportedly ongoing in some areas in the local government, albeit with report of delayed materials in certain locations. We also informed you that severe flooding has devastated parts of Ondo town in Ondo West local government area of Ondo State, following an unusually heavy rainfall on Friday that lasted for several hours. The flooding has caused extensive damage to properties worth millions of nairas and displaced numerous residents. Key areas affected include the major Akure-Ondo highway, which is submerged, and various neighborhoods such as Itanla, Oka, Odojomu, Bethlehem, and Fagun being affected. Now, in response, the state government, through the Ministry of Environment, has ordered evacuations from affected areas and initiated rapid response measures to prevent further damage, as confirmed by the State Commissioner for Environment, Oyeniyi Oseni. Now, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Lime's World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're TV360 Online. And on business, Nigeria's debt servicing payments is surged by 69% and the first half of 2024, reaching 6.04 trillion naira, up from 3.58 trillion naira recorded at the same period of 2023. This sharp rise in debt service obligations, likely driven by naira devaluation for foreign debt repayment, reflects the growing burden on the Nigerian government as debt repayment consumes a significant portion of its financial resources. According to data from the latest statistical bulletin of the Central Bank of Nigeria, debt service in first quarter of 2024 made up 50% of the total expenditure of 12.17 trillion naira and a staggering 162% of the 3.73 trillion naira total revenue generated during the period. The 69% rise in debt servicing between first quarter 2023 and first quarter 2024 highlights Nigeria's growing fiscal vulnerability. Still on business, the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals Development has cautioned the Osun State government against jeopardizing the Nigerian government's effort to attract foreign direct investment by closing down a mining site. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, disclosed this on Friday via his X page. Alake is reacting to claims and counterclaims between the Ondo State government and Tor Exploration Limited, the owner of Segilola Resource Operating Limited, regarding alleged taxation and operational issues. On September 30th, the Ondo State government reportedly sealed the business premises of Siroil, insisting that a court ordered the state to confiscate the company for flagrant tax violation and other operational matters. Alake said that to address the dispute and restore industrial harmony, he has set up a fact-finding team comprised of Mary Ogbe, the permanent secretary of the ministry, representative from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the Ministry of Labour and Employment, and the National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. And on the global scene, 17 metric tons of urgently needed medical supplies have arrived in Beirut via air cargo from International Community of the Red Cross ICRC. This shipment brings much needed relief to Lebanon healthcare system, which was already under strain and now faces extreme pressure due to the ongoing armed conflict. According to the health coordinator in Lebanon, the supplies are intended to be distributed to hospitals in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, allowing them to continue providing critical and life-saving care to those affected by the escalating conflict. The shipment, which arrived in Lebanese capital from Geneva on Friday, includes surgical materials and other medical items to help hospitals and medical workers care for trauma injuries, burns, and other needs. This is in addition to humanitarian relief items the ICRC has pre-positioned in Lebanon prior to the recent escalation of violence.
Today, the International Committee of the Red Cross received around 17 metric tons of medical supplies. This supply is intended to be distributed to support hospitals in collaboration with the Ministry of Health for this hospital to continue to deliver critical life-saving care to people affected by this escalating conflict.
And finally, on sport, the U.S. court has upheld the ruling that Floyd Mayweather Jr., the former world boxing champion, must pay Zini Media Concept Limited, a Nigerian company, $2.4 million in damages for breach of contract. According to a statement from the company's media executive, Alex Owanko, Zini Media reached an agreement with Mayweather to make various appearances in Africa, including one in Nigeria in June 2017. However, the former boxer unilaterally terminated the deal without cause and refused to reimburse the company for the advance payments paid for the service. And the latest ruling, dated August 27, clerk of the appellant court affirmed the lower court's verdict. It said that the court has instructed U.S. Attorney to enforce the judgment by targeting Mayweather's 2015 Bugatti GSV or his 2015 Ferrari, both valued over the damages. Still on sport, Pep Guardiola has claimed the Premier League has refused to accept Manchester City's request to start next season late due to their involvement in the FIFA Club World Cup. Guardiola said City has asked the Premier League to postpone their first matches of the 2025 and 2026 campaign to allow extra time to rest after the Club World Cup in the United States. Having already lost influential Spain midfielder Rodri for the rest of the season following his knee injury against Arsenal, Guardiola fears his players will be burnt out and at risk of injury because of the increased workload. And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for watching. See you again next time.